Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah.
Welcome back to Rage Against the Regime. I'm your host, Becky True Stinger Williams. It's another glorious Monday right here in America. Wanted to talk to folks about a few things today that I feel is something very important needs to be stated. We have some insanity going on in this patriot movement. It defies all logic. It's disheartening. It just gobsmacks me. I mean, the things that are going on, the division, the threats, the bullshit. We couldn't organize a cookie sale at this point in the patriot community. I want to talk about a couple things. I just engaged in a conversation. It's pretty disturbing, actually. On my brother John Recon's video, we had a gentleman come on that disagreed with John's video when he called Oregon a false flag and called out Eamon Bundy and some of the others by name. And said he had to question, basically, what was going on there. I tend to be in agreement with Brother John. And a gentleman came on, and he was pretty pissed off with the fact that John had made such a statement. And then he, in his reply, he suggested that before you start making insinuations that you come to the table with evidence. Well, I did that. Not just myself, but many others. We came to the table with evidence that there was some question about why Burns, Oregon, timing, location, cause. But patriots are so irritated and so fed up with what's going on today, they can't see past their noses. Step back and take a big look at the picture. They just want somebody to do something about everything. And so, being that they sensationalized the whole Bundy Ranch thing, the way they did, and I'm not saying that it didn't need to be addressed. I'm not saying that at all. Don't misunderstand me, but it was sensationalized. And the Bundys and the Hammonds were just, two ranchers out of literally thousands of casualties in the farming and ranching community that the BLM and the oligarchy, foreign interests, have come in and taken over their properties and shut them down, flooded them out, burned them out, whatever they had to do, gain their property by default on this bullshit grazing leases and water rights program. There's nothing more than extortion from the people by the government and the BLM. Because according to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, the government has no right to own any water rights, mineral rights, grazing rights, or territory, for that matter. And that is in the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I believe it's Article 6. You guys need to look it up. You need to understand what the limitations are of government are. You need to gird yourself up with knowledge. Don't just spew, repeat, regurgitate like a freaking minor bird something that you've heard over and over again by myself or anyone else. Go look it up for yourself. If we lead you to an article or a paragraph in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights, do yourself a favor. Go look it up. And then base your conviction on your own knowledge. And base your anger or frustration on your own knowledge, not by being provoked into it, I guess is what I want to say. But anyway, the timing of the Burns situation is suspect at best, okay? The poor Hammonds, they have been going through this for 30 years. They've been harassed, forced off their property, blocked roadways to their own property, fence put up on their own property to keep them away from areas by the oligarchy and the BLM, which is a foreign entity. Now, first off, you need to know who the BLM is, okay? Do your homework. They're based out of Puerto Rico. They're a foreign entity. UN Agenda 21. They're thugs. That's what they are. They're the, best way I can describe what's going on right now is mafiotic / communistic Nazi Islamic tactics. It's war tactic. And these are foot soldiers for the big boys. And they have no jurisdiction in America to do the things that they're doing. And the only reason that they continue to do this is because we allow this to happen. Same thing with Obama. Everybody's bitching. When's somebody going to remove him? Well, it's your position to move him at this point. It's your responsibility and duty to remove him. It's my responsibility. If by force, Second Amendment. And it's not called anarchy. It's called removing tyranny. Removing a sleeper cell. That's what it's called. We've all been brainwashed to be compliant. But anyway, let's go back to the timing. And why you need to question, why Oregon? You know, Blaine Cooper and his little buddies were not concerned about the Hammonds until 2 days before they had to turn themselves in on trumped-up charges, double jeopardy, false charges, to prison. They refused to let their property be taken by extortion or otherwise from the BLM and the government. There's a wealth of resources in that area. Their property contains some serious mineral resources, and the government wants it. And they most likely want it to sell it off to another foreign interest, i.e. China, who is buying up tons and tons of land in America. So they're taking away from us. They're taking away industry. Millions of jobs are being lost. People are losing their families. They're losing their lives. They're losing their livelihood. And this oligarchy doesn't give a shit because they're mafia. People like the BLM are their foot soldiers, but it gets worse. Even among the patriot movement, we have infiltrators, agitators, provocateurs, opportunists, con men and women. And I reported on some last week, and so did many others. And I got death threats and bodily harm threats, and just want to send a word out to those individuals. Don't threaten me. Do not threaten me. You would rather bite a bear in the ass with dysentery than step on me. Trust me when I tell you that. You or your little thugs that you send to do your job most likely will leave in a toe tag. I won't call a cop. I'll handle my shit myself, and I'll use the law to do it. And by that I mean the castle law and the right to defend. Don't do it. You'd be ignorant as shit if you even try it. Don't threaten me. You want to be a man? You want to be a woman? You want to sit down and talk to me about our differences of opinion, and we can agree to disagree or agree. You can tell me why you feel the way you feel, and I'll tell you why I feel the way I feel, and we'll come to a meeting of the minds, but don't threaten me. That's for you, Blaine Cooper. That's for Anne Marie. That's for Christine. I can't even remember. Or not Christine. Kimberly. Whatever your last name is. I can't even remember. Don't threaten me. And don't threaten others. I watched you threaten many more on there, not just myself, because we disagreed with supporting Blaine Cooper, who's a career criminal, con man. For him, this is nothing more than a big business. He makes a whole lot of money off acting like he's superhero and patriot, and he's a chronic offender. Kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon, assault with bodily injury, multiples, evading arrest. If I didn't say kidnapping, I'm a little tired. I've been up all night. Giving alcohol to a minor. I mean, this guy can't make good decisions in his own life. What the hell makes you think you should trust him with yours when it's self-serving and he's a glory whore? In my opinion, him reading that little piece of paper and the John McCain video, which was his claim to fame and shot him into stardom, that was to infiltrate our community. He and Jamie Spears have incorporated their little program, and it's called Third Watch, and it's incorporated. And they're making a ton of money off of our misery. And from what I understand, and I haven't vetted this, but I'll tell you, my source has been very accurate and has no reason to lie to me. There are several GoFundMe programs out there that are buying him drones and a motorcycle and paying his bills, and now he and Jamie Spears have incorporated Third Watch Inc. So this is a moneymaker for them. And patriots, true patriots, don't turn this into a business. They don't need to be paid to do what they do. They do it because they're patriots. And they're hardworking Americans. They're not opportunists. And they're certainly not violent career criminals. And back to what started this is this gentleman that was on John Recon's video, Steve, and I won't say his last name, I'm just going to put it out there, Steve from California, didn't like what John had to say. And I engaged him and I said, I have evidence, and I've presented the evidence. And then he proceeded to tell me what I've heard over and over again out of Blaine Cooper's worshipers. You know, people change. Well, yeah, people do change. And I don't have a problem with people having a criminal background. I don't. People screw up. DUIs, maybe got in a bar fight or, road rage fight and caught an assault charge or something like that. But career criminals, they don't change. They do not change. This guy's got 17 or 18 counts against him. Many are violent. And he's 36 years of age. He should be under a jail cell. And personally threatened me. Big bad badass Billy boy. Ain't you tough threatening a woman. You some bad mofo. Pussy. Threatened John Hildinger. Attacked some people in Oregon. But the worst part is that he's misled a community of people who've entrusted him, who donate endlessly to this piece of shit and worship him. And they're either too daft or, God, I mean, how do I put this without trying to be offensive? I mean, there's no way not to. They follow him. They worship the ground that he walks on. And this guy's bad juju. He's a hothead. He's tempered. And he's incited some violence out of Oregon, insinuating it was going to be a Waco, Ruby Ridge, when in fact it's not. If the feds were going to do that, they would have already done it. And I'm not defending the feds by any means. I hate them. But I'm just saying that the media didn't mention Waco until Blaine did. Big call to arms to Oregon. Blaine, where were you? Where were you, Mr. Superhero, when the Hammonds were being drugged through court and railroaded unjustly into another sentence on the same crime, but they decided to call it something else? I mean, really, seriously, where were you? Where were you in July? Where were you in October? Why'd you show up 2 days before they have to turn themselves in? Why are you staking claim on a BLM project to shut them down in Burns, Oregon? I mean, why are you doing this, Blaine? Why are you doing it there? Why? With the timing, On the heels of Loretta Lynch's little, I'm going to take your weapon if you're a terrorist. We already know who the terrorists are. They're calling us the terrorists. And you've further proven that through the media. We've gotten some really serious demonization coming out of the media for the militia and the patriots because of your ignorance, because of your provocateering, because you're just a dumb fucker who's out there marketing your program. We're not ready to fight. Nobody's ready to fight yet. They're not ready to fight because we're scattered and we're divided. And we've got a gentleman claiming to be a commander of a 3% group out of California telling us that we need to support you and that you've changed. And I asked him, do you even vet your people? I mean, because if you did vet your people, I wouldn't have had to vet Blaine Cooper for you before you put your stamp on it, you know? This is very, very, very scary. It's disturbing is what it is. It's dangerous. And Blaine's just one of thousands of opportunist, career criminal individuals in this movement. And you people are going to follow him to the gates of hell. Well, listen, I'm not ready to, okay? I have kids, I have grandkids, and I'm not on board with Con, who's turned this into his own personal enterprise. He's a hothead. He's a liar. Stolen valor. I mean, come on, people, really? You're going to defend this piece of shit? And you're going to threaten me because I present the truth? What the fuck is wrong with you people? Seriously. Step back and pay attention. Step back and look at the big picture. I mean, you wouldn't marry somebody you didn't trust, would you? You wouldn't crawl into bed with a thief and give him your checkbook, would you? In business or otherwise. I didn't think so. So, stop being ignorant. Vet the people you're following. Question what they're doing. Where they came from. How is it you turn up at every major documentary event? How is it that you have a family but you don't have a job? Well, because this is his enterprise. It's his gold mine. The fall of America is his gold mine. What a treasonous piece of shit. He's no better than Obama or any of the others. Anybody that would take our circumstances, our suffering, and do that is a traitor. If you don't like me saying it, I don't really care. It has to be said. It's the truth. Truth tastes like poop sometimes, you know. It doesn't settle well on the back of the palate. It's like drinking a bad glass of wine. Or eating burnt food. But it is what it is. And so we have a great division in this patriotic movement. We're scattered across the country. We're not ready for the bloodbath that's coming. I hear the chatter, you know. If even one person gets harmed up there in Oregon, we're going to bring down the wrath of hell on this whole country. Well, you're not ready for that. You know why? You've sat back and you've allowed the borders to be wide open. You have allowed the influx of these so-called refugees. You have allowed terrorists to kill on our soil and not raise more hell than the Black Lives Matter could in Ferguson because the government won't call it terrorism. See, we're letting this happen. I don't know if you're operating out of fear. I don't know if you're operating out of ignorance. I don't know what it is, but the things that are happening that we keep pointing a finger at everybody about, and why doesn't somebody do something, and we need a leader. You are a leader. Each and every one of you are leaders. You have the capability. You're in charge of your destiny. You're in charge of coming together and working together as an organization, a well-oiled machine. You're in charge of whether you go down and take self-defense courses and whether you get out and learn situational awareness skills or shoot, move, and communicate skills, because that's what it's going to be like. It's not. This ain't like going to the shooting range and shooting a target or going out in a field and shooting a bottle that's standing still. That's not what it's going to be like. Houses are going to burn. Your car is going to be shot at. They're going to jump out in the road, try to drag you out of your vehicle. They're coming for your weapons. They're coming for your food. And when I say they, we're talking about all the foreign invaders, the lawless. We're talking about the Muslims. And we're talking about the government. And if that's not bad enough, we're talking about the assholes like Kimberly and Anne Marie and Blaine Cooper who like to threaten the lives of patriots. Okay? You get that? better understand it, because we don't know who's who at this point, and everybody's confused. But I will tell you what it did accomplish so far, thus far. Any ground that we were gaining as a patriotic movement and a militia just suffered some severe damage because of Blaine Cooper and his buddies up there deciding that they were going to make a stand in Oregon, which I believe was a staged event. It just doesn't make sense why they did it there. Why them? Why there? Okay? Taking over the whole refuge thing, just happen to have the keys to it, just happen to have all the keys to the heavy equipment, barricade themselves in, claim the FBI, it's not going to make it another Waco, Ruby Ridge, all that bullshit. That all came out of their mouth. Didn't come out of media first, came out of theirs. But media has demonized us. We're called militants, gang rings, terrorists, white terrorists at that. I mean, they're really doing us up proud. Yeah, piece of shit. It really damaged our credibility. And I was in a damned if I did, damned if I didn't situation, but somebody had to be alerted about Blaine Cooper and what his antics are. And I'm not the only one that reported that. There's several people out there reported it. Okay? If we didn't say something, he might be able to trigger an already inflamed situation into a very real civil war in this country that I don't think we're ready for. And that he was damn sure trying to do it. Okay? Him and his buddies. It's like the boy who cried wolf. They were up there crying wolf, and it wasn't time to cry wolf, but it was inciting agitation and fear in the public, in the patriot movement. And so we exposed Blaine Cooper for who he is. And I'm going to go ahead and expose Jamie Spears because she's his business partner in this marketing empire that they're building off the misery of America, which I think is very wrong, personally. That's my opinion. And I'm sure that I've got many of you out there that now that I've painted the big picture for you, you can step back and take a look at it, and you're probably going to get pretty pissed off about it too. And you should, because it's an act of tyranny, in my opinion. We know that there are informants out there that work for the government, and I have pretty good suspicion that that's probably the only reason that Mr. Cooper is not under a jail cell. Now, I could be wrong. Not saying that I couldn't. And if I am, I'll retract the statement. But everything points to it. And the playbook that the FBI and Karl Marx used to control by psyops situations and population to incite them to do certain things or believe certain things is certainly being used in this incident in Oregon. If we want to stop the BLM, who is a foreign entity, and we want to stop people like Blaine Cooper, I would suggest to you so-called self-appointed commanders for the Threepers, vet your people. Discredit those who try to step up and take the lead and make decisions for American patriots in this country. I don't take it lightly, and neither should you. You discredit those people and remove them from the equation. Listen, if you're law enforcement, you should be smarter than that. You know who the criminals are. You know who the bad guy is. You're not fooled by that type of personality. And that's a very narcissistic, sociopathic trait. Someone who lies, stolen valor, and who's making an enterprise off of the misery of America and leading patriots into bad situations that can either cause their death or their incarceration, and demonizes the entire patriot movement. Yet, we have people pissed off at me and others who exposed them for what they were doing. I'm not saying that there aren't some good patriots up in Oregon that went with the right heart and really blindly don't understand that the leadership that they're following could get them killed, could go ahead and give some validity to the gun grab by popular census, or stop us from waking other Americans up because we're being so chastised and demonized through the media that people won't listen to us when we try to educate them. I mean, there's a number of ways that they damaged us. It was a lose-lose situation, but I felt that it was best to report on it, to give people the opportunity to make their own decisions, and if in fact it was a false flag and a PSYOP operation, we definitely threw a wrench in it. We totally screwed it up for the operatives. Like, we seriously damaged it. But it did cause division. So, again, it was a lose-lose situation. Either way we went, we were in trouble. But we had to take one road or the other. I took the lesser of two evils. I'd rather stop them and take the backlash than to suffer what might have been a very, very deadly and tragic situation. So that's my explanation. Now, we have got to get our shit together, patriots. We really do. And when they come at us with demonization as a whole, we need to go after them for defamation. If you want to stop the BLM, you don't go to Oregon and sit in a refuge 30 miles outside of the city limits or the town while Blaine Cooper sleeps in a hotel acting like he's at a refuge. We have evidence of that, by the way. We have evidence that Shaughnessy was drinking alcohol on the funds that were given. We have evidence that Buddha ran away whenever they called him out for his bullshit. We're trying to give you guys a heads up. I'm trying to tell you, don't put your finger in the fire. It's like mom trying to teach a little kid, don't do that. Don't do that. It's going to hurt you. Just pay attention. Do your own homework. You're grown-ass people, you know. Do something besides sit behind a keyboard and act like you're somebody supporting something else. Do something besides the insanity of being patrolled on social network by the federal government and NSA. Do something. You're not doing anything, really. I mean, we're sharing a bunch of information with the same people every damn day. We're not reaching anybody outside of our community. Why? Because we keep them out. We block them out. We're not. I say I do. I go in there. That's how come I get banned all the time. I'll go in and piss them off. I'll go in and try to wake somebody up on a troll page or a Democratic page or a liberal page. I'll go in there and really just hammer the hell at them with some truth, and I always get banned for it. Facebook puts me in jail. That's why I have multiple profiles. It's so I can continue to communicate with you guys and promote the show. But the insanity in the patriot community needs to stop. We're getting inch by inch closer to a deadly civil war. You people have no idea what it's going to be like. You haven't even sat down to imagine the possibility or probability of the most horrific things that you can imagine. You know how barbaric Islam is, and they're here. And they're here to be the foot soldiers. You know how barbaric the cartel and the gang members are coming out of South America and Mexico, and they're here. They are here. You know how ruthless the Black Lives Matter and the black thugs, the pavement apes are. And they're here. And they hate you if you're white. You have no idea what kind of pain, torture, and execution is coming. And they're going to kill your infants. They're going to kill your children, no matter what age they are. The old people that can't run to get away and have no defense, they're going to slaughter. It's going to be horrific. And then you have our own military that's going to come in. Many will, many won't. And our own law enforcement. Some will, some won't. You think about that. You think about that long and hard. And we've given you two options that we know 100% would have absolutely worked to stop all of this shit. And you refuse to do it. Millions surround Washington, D.C. at a time of war. Their little protective 10-mile island up there, their pretend invisible shield of protection is out the door, and they have imposed war on you. They've invaded your nation with foreign bodies. They're here to kill you. They won't call them what they are whenever they commit an act of terrorism. And they've taken over your government. And foreign agencies are taking property and land from people and putting them in jail. Farmers and ranchers have committed suicide, hoping their life insurance policy would take care of their family and keep the farm. Okay? And insurance was actually started by the mafia, by the way. That's how insurance got started in America. Thugs would come in, beat the shit out of somebody, and then tell them, if you pay me every week, we'll protect you. Well, what they were protecting them from is them coming in to beat the shit out of them. Same thing with the insurance companies. Same thing with the BLM. Same thing with the oligarchy. So you got to make up your mind what you're going to do. The other thing that we told you could do that you refused to do, because you could shut down the banking cabal, the whole thing. You could friggin' shut them all down. You could crash markets, crumble corporations, stop Halliburton, stop the government, and don't pay taxes. File exempt. Across the friggin' board. In 90 days, I guarantee you crumble the Rothschilds, you'd crumble Washington, you'd crumble the corporations and the unions and the lobbyists. You would totally cripple the bastards. But you won't do it. We've told you don't go into the foreign businesses and do business with them. Muhammad is not your friend. There is no moderate Muslim. Read the Hadith. Read the Quran. Look at history. Look at current events. I mean, Jesus Christ, do I really have to preach this to you? Are you that daft that you can't friggin' do that much to save your own life? And just FYI, Islam and Muslims are not a race. So before you start calling me a racist, check your ignorant self. It's not a race. They come in every color. It's a cult. It's a way of life. It's a geopolitical war machine of domination and genocide. It's exactly what it is. It's evil. It's barbaric. It's medieval. I mean, it's demonic. So before you go there with me, Muhammad's not your friend. Don't care what you say. There's no moderate Muslim. They just all have a position in their little war, their caliphate, or their jihad. Some is to be in the political arena. The other is to take over your land and your business, to enforce the jizya, because everything they get is free. Free money to start the business, free money to come to the country, free money when they come in the country, loan-free programs on any loaned money. There's no interest. I'm sorry, not loan-free, but no interest programs. And tax exemption, personal and business. It's the jizya, my friend. Look it up. Don't be stupid. Gird yourself up with knowledge. Knowledge is power. Even God said. God said. Okay? Do your homework. Stop being divided. Stop following idiots. And don't chastise the true stingers for reporting. Listen, I'm not the criminal. I just reported on him. I mean, seriously. What the fuck? Why are you demonizing me? Another thing, I put a disclaimer up on True Stinger, and Bobby Ritter, my partner, claimed that he was getting like so many private messages where people were pissed off about the disclaimer. Well, I didn't get any of those messages, okay? All I got was praise out of what I did, and I posted it everywhere. Same thing I posted on the Rage. So, for any of you that went back to Bobby and gave him a hard time about it, I was the one who wrote that. I was the one who wrote about the staff supports the true patriots in Oregon, and I do. Their heart's in the right place. They just picked the wrong place to do it, in my opinion. And I'm pretty smart like that. I've been working on trying to shut the BLM down for a lot longer than Oregon, believe me. A lot longer than Bundy, believe me. But I do it in a different way. And my way is collecting the evidence, figuring out what the matrix is, who belongs to who's doing what with the BLM. And once we can get that established, then we can go after them under RICO, because they're not a government agency, so they're not exempt from shit. Okay? They get paid by the government, but they are not government. So we're working on it. Me and a team of a bunch of other people. There's a bunch of us out here working to do things that you don't see, but we are doing what we need to do. But we do support them. Anyway, for any of you people that went to Bobby and started complaining and he caught hell for it, I want to reach out to you right now and tell you, if you have any questions about that, you can address me. Don't go to Bobby, my partner, with any of your complaints. I'm a real big girl, and you're welcome to come with me, and I'm not going to cuss you out and do all of that crap unless you're rude to me. We'll sit down and we'll agree to disagree, and you tell me your points, and I'll tell you my points, and we'll come to a meeting of the minds, or we won't. But Bobby's not my dad. Bobby's not my boyfriend. Bobby's not my husband. He's my partner in business. And so if you have an issue and you have a problem with me, please come to me, Becky Williams, True Stinger. You can find me on Becky Williams, Becky Cole, or go to The Rage. Leave your messages for me, and I'll address them. And I would appreciate that, because I would give you that much respect myself. I'm going to cut this off, let you guys go on about your business. I don't know when the next blog talk show would be, but soon we'll do another blog talk show this week. I want to say thank you for listening. Trying to do better with my language. When I hit a area that I'm really irritated with, one of those expletives seems to fly out. For those offended, I apologize. That's just, it is what it is. You guys keep your head on swivel, and keep very close eye on what's going on across the globe. Oregon is not the only thing happening. We have a whole lot of other things that are going on right now that should be very concerning to you. Pay attention. Just do your homework. I'd encourage each and every one of you to read the Constitution at least once. I know it's boring, but it's imperative. And read the Bill of Rights. Not just the federal Constitution and Bill of Rights, but your own state Constitution and Bill of Rights. And for Texans, read your Declaration of Independence for the state of Texas. And for the Freedom Texas people, I got some real bad news for you. Support the movement 100%. I told you that. I ran on the platform of secession as a governor, for governor of Texas. They're not going to let us go. And you can keep telling people, don't worry about what's going on in Washington. We need to focus on Texas. But the fact of the matter is this. They are not going to let you go. Period. It's just not going to happen. And as long as we have agents for the oligarchy working in Texas government, you can bet your ass it's never going to happen. So why don't you guys get on board and help us continue to fight for Texas? I'm not telling you not to do that, but I'm going to ask you to get on board and help us fight Washington, okay? Help us present to Texas what our arguments are, but at the same time, we need to do what we need to do in this country, and that is to band together, become a force that is to be reckoned with, and let these people know in Washington that they're either going to remove that usurping Muslim piece of shit and put him on trial and convict him of espionage, which carries a death penalty, or they themselves are also going to be taken into custody. And that's the end of it. I mean, I don't care how you paint it, that's what needs to be done. So, please, everybody get on the same page. Everybody quit the infighting. Contrary to everybody's belief, we're not going to like each other. You know, everybody's not going to like everybody. But we can all agree that we're fighting for the same cause. So let's get there, but let's don't let madmen and career criminals and con-cons lead us in the wrong direction and cause further damage to our image to the public. Again, God bless each and every one of you, and I'll catch up with you at another time. This is Becky Williams, a True Stinger. Goodbye, and I'll talk to you later.